Alright, in this video we are going to go over how to do systems of equations, and there are two types of systems of equations problems we are going to look at. Those are elimination and substitution. Systems of equations is when we had two equations and we were trying to find the point that made both of those true. If you're thinking about the graph, it's the point where the two graphs cross. So for a solution of systems of equations using elimination, what we did for those is we tried to add the equations together so that one of the variables would cancel out. So let's look at this first example that we've got here. We've got 10x plus 9y equals negative 17. And we've got 10x minus 2y equals positive 16. And so this type of problem is a little bit easier because it already has variables that almost will cancel out. Right here, I've got 10x and a 10x. So if only one of those was negative, it would make the whole thing cancel out for the 10x's. So what I can do is I can just multiply everything in one of these equations by negative 1. So I could multiply 10 right here by negative 1, then make it negative. This negative 2 right here will become positive, and the 16 will become negative. It just changes the sign of everything in that second equation. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these things together. So 10 plus negative 10 cancels, and that's what we want to happen. We want that variable to be eliminated. So now I've got 9 plus 2, which is going to give me 11y. And then I've got negative 17 and negative 16, and that is going to give me negative 33 whenever I put those together. So this gives me a really simple equation that I can solve just by dividing both sides by 11. And so y is going to equal negative 3. Okay. Once you get that negative 3, you have to plug that back into one of the original equations to find the x that goes with it. I'm just going to use that second equation, 10x minus 2y equals 16. I just like it a little better because it has it just seems a little easier to me, but you can use either equation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out that y right there, and I'm going to replace it with the negative 3. And so I'll get 10x plus 6 equals 16. And now I just need to solve that equation. So I'm going to subtract this 6 right here. And so 10x equals 10. And I'm going to divide both sides by 10. And so x equals 1. Right. So my x-coordinate is 1, and my y-coordinate is negative 3. So my answer right here is 1, negative 3. And I will go over here and type that in, 1, negative 3. And hopefully that one is right. It is. So we'll go on to our next problem. Okay, here is our next one. We've got negative x minus 8y equals 2, and we've got x minus 5y equals negative 15. And so this one is ready to go because right here you've got a negative x and a positive x, and when you add those together, that's going to cancel out. So you don't have to change anything about the equations. You're going to have negative 8 plus negative 5, and that's going to give you negative 13y. And then 2 plus negative 15 is going to be negative 13. And so you got this simple equation here. You're just going to divide both sides by negative 13. And negative 13 divided by negative 13 is 1. So we get 1 for our y-coordinate. Then we're just going to pick one of our equations down here to plug it into. And so we'll have I'm going to use this one, negative x minus 8y equals 2. And you're just taking out that y and putting a 1 there. So that gives you negative x minus 8 equals 2. You're just going to add that 8 to both sides. So negative x equals 10. And so if you divide both sides by that negative, you're going to get x equals negative 10. So Our x coordinate is negative 10. That comes first. And then what was our y was 1 up there. So negative 10, 1 is the answer for this problem. Okay. Here is our last one in this section. I've got negative 2x minus 6y equals 8. I've also got negative 6x minus 6y equals 0. Now these two will not cancel, but all you've got to do is change the sign of everything in the bottom. That 0 can't really change signs since it doesn't have one. And now when you add these two together, those y's are going to cancel out. So negative 2 plus 6 is going to give you 4x, and 8 plus 0 is going to be 8. And we will divide both sides by 4. And so x will equal 2. And so now we've got our x coordinate. We're going to plug that back into one of our equations. It doesn't matter which one. I think I'll pick the bottom one there. So negative 6 instead of x, I'm going to put 2 minus 6y equals 0. And so this is negative 12 minus 6y equals 0. You can add your 12 to both sides. So negative 6y equals 12. And then divide by negative 6. And whenever you do that, you're going to get y equals negative 2. And so that is our y coordinate. Our x coordinate was positive 2, so we've got 2, negative 2 as our answer. So 2, negative 2. Okay, and that finishes that part. Let's go back and do a couple of them that are a little bit more difficult. Alright, here is our next one. These are going to be a little bit more difficult in this next section. So we've got 2x plus 4y equals negative 14. And we've got x minus 2y equals 9. And if we look at this, nothing here is going to cancel out if you add these two together. You've got 2x and x, that'd give you 3. You got 4 and negative 2, that'd give you 2. The x's nor the y's will cancel out here. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to multiply one of these equations so that something will cancel out. Right here I see I've got a positive 4, and if this was just a negative 4, then those would cancel. So to make that a negative 4, I can take this whole entire equation and multiply it by 2. So the top equation stays the same. 2x plus 4y equals negative 14. But right here, I'm going to multiply everything in this equation by 2. So that's going to give me 2x minus 4y equals 18. And now I have got a positive 4 and a negative 4y that are going to cancel each other out. So 2x plus 2x is 4x. And negative 14 plus 18 is going to give me 4. And so now, like the other problems, I'm down to a really simple equation. I'm just going to divide both sides by 4, and that'll give me 1. So my x-coordinate, I know, is 1. I do have to find the y-coordinate that goes with that. So when I find the y-coordinate, I'm just going to pick one of these equations. I think I'll pick the bottom one because I think it looks the easiest. X minus 2y equals 9. And I'm going to plug in 1. So 1 minus 2y equals 9. And we're just going to solve that simple equation. So subtract 1 from both sides. So negative 2y equals 8. And then divide by negative 2. And so y equals negative 4. So back up here, I've got a x-coordinate of 1. I've got a negative 4 for my y. So let's type that in and see if it's right. Okay, let's do another one of those. So we've got 8x plus 4y equals negative 4. And then we've got negative 4x minus 5y equals 11. And so I'm looking right here. If I multiply this bottom equation by 2, it's going to give me a negative 8 right here in this position, which will cancel with my 8. So the top equation is going to stay the same. 8x plus 4y equals negative 4. And on the bottom, I'm going to have negative 8x minus 10y equals 22. So I multiplied everything in this equation by 2. Now my 8x's will cancel, and I'll have negative 6y equals 22. Negative 4 plus 22 is going to give me 18. And then I'm going to divide by negative 6. So y equals negative 3. Okay, so that's my y coordinate. I'm just going to plug back in here. So 8x plus 4 times, instead of y, I'm going to put that negative 3 I just found, equals negative 4. And so 8x minus 12 equals negative 4. I'm going to add that 12 to both sides. 8x equals 8. And then the last step is to divide that by 8. And so x equals 1. So I'll have 1, negative 4 will be my answer for that one. Uh-oh, I've messed up. Oh, it's because I should have had negative 3. Not negative 4. I looked at the wrong number there. That should be a 3. It's a 3 up there. Okay, that one is correct. All right, let's do one more of these, and then we'll move on to substitution. So I've got negative 9x plus 2y equals negative 19. And I've got 5x plus 4y equals negative 15. And so these won't cancel as they are, but if I multiply this top equation by negative 2, then I'll get a negative 4 right here. And that will cancel with this positive 4 right here. So I'll get 18x minus 4y equals negative 19. And I've got 5x plus 4y equals negative 15. So those 4's will cancel, and then 18 plus 5 is going to give me 23x. And negative 19 and negative 15 is going to give me negative 34. Let's see, this doesn't seem right because it seems like I should be getting... Oh, that's because I did not multiply this number right here by... Okay, so I made a mistake right here. I forgot right here when I was multiplying. I've got to multiply negative 9 by negative 2. I've got to multiply 2 by negative 2. I've also got to multiply negative 19 by negative 2. So negative 19 times negative 2 is positive 38. And so now, if I've got a positive 38 right there, 38 minus 15, or 38 plus negative 15, is going to give me 23. And then so I divide both sides by 23. And so x equals 1. Okay, you just got to plug that back in. So I'm going to use the bottom equation this time. It just looks easier to me. So I've got 5 plus 4y equals negative 15. I'm going to subtract the 5. So 4y equals negative 20. And so y is going to equal negative 5. So I should have 1, negative 5 for this one. Okay, so that takes care of our elimination problems. Now let's look at substitution. Okay, for substitution, what we're going to do is we're going to take one equation and plug it into the other. In this case, both of these equations are equal to y. So I've got y equals 9x minus 12, and I've also got y equals 3x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 3x right here, and I'm going to replace this y. So that will look, well, I'll get the pen back here. That'll look like this. Let's go back to the pen so you can see it. 3x equals 9x minus 12. The other way you can think of it is both of these are equal to y, so you can just set them equal to each other. 3x equals 9x minus 12. So I'm going to subtract this 9x, Could subtract 3x, but I won't have anything left on that side if I do that. So I get negative 6x equals negative 12. I'm going to divide by negative 6. And so x equals positive 2. And then just like the other problems, once you get one answer, you just plug them back into one of the original equations. The easiest one is y equals 3x. So if y equals 3x, y equals 3 times 2, and you'll get 6. So 2, 6 is your answer for this one. Okay. All right, here's another one. Same deal here. These are both equal to y. So we can just set them equal to each other. 2x equals 5x plus 30. And so I could subtract both sides by 5x. So negative 3x would equal 30. And I'd divide by negative 3. So x equals negative 10. Right? Again, you're just going to plug this in. So y equals 2x, which if I replace that x with negative 10, I've got 2 times negative 10, I get negative 20. So my y coordinate is negative 20. So this answer over here is negative 10, negative 20. Okay, let's do one more like this. Again, these are both equal to y, so we just set them equal to each other. 3x equals negative 4x minus 49. This time I'm going to add that 4x to move it over here to the other side. It gives me 7x equals negative 49. Divide by 7. And so x equals negative 7. You need the y coordinate that goes with it, so we're just going to plug that back in. Y equals 3 times negative 7, which gives us negative 21. And so negative 7, negative 21 is going to be our answer for that. Okay, we've got one more section we need to look at, and those are the next level of substitution problems. They're a little bit more difficult. Okay, so this one, we've got y equals 6x, and then we've got 7x minus 8y equals negative 41. So the idea in substitution is we're going to do this. We're going to take this 6x, it's equal to y, and we're going to replace the y with that 6x. So that will look like this. 7x minus 8 times 6x equals negative 41. And this is good because now we only have x's in this equation. So we've got 7x minus 48. X equals negative 41. And 7 minus 48 is going to give us negative 41x, which equals negative 41. So if we divide both sides by negative 41, we will get x equals positive 1. Okay, you're just going to plug back into one of those equations. The top one's definitely easier. Y equals 6x. So y equals 6 times 1. So we get 6 for that y coordinate. So we'll type our answer in over here, 1, 6. That's correct. Right, here is our next one. We've got 9y equals x. Negative 4x plus y equals negative 35. So what we're doing here, x right here is by itself. So we're going to take this 9y and we're going to put it right here where the x is at. And so that will look like this. Negative 4 times 9y plus y equals negative 35. And so I get negative 36y plus y equals negative 35. Negative 36 plus 1 is going to be negative 35. Y equals negative 35. And we're going to divide both sides by negative 35. And so y equals positive 1. And then you just need to plug that back in. That top equation's easiest. So 9 times 1 is your x. So you just get 9 for your x. So make sure you type your 9 first because it's your x coordinate. 9, 1. is going to be your answer for that one. Okay, and we've got one more that we've got to do. Okay, so for this one, we've got negative 3x minus 4y equals 11, and then so y equals 2x. So right here we've got y equals 2x, so we're replacing our y with 2x. So negative 3x minus 4 times 2x equals 11. Negative 3x minus 8x equals 11, so negative 11x equals 11. We can divide both sides by negative 11. So x equals negative 1. And then we just have to plug that in. Y equals 2x. So that would be 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2. So we get negative 1, negative 2 for that answer. Okay. And that runs through several examples that should help you on your system of equations review.